Hello, hello again. Kurt said it all, and well, it's gonna be very hard to be up to the expectations after Kurt. But okay, I'd like to ask you for a favor, a huge favor. Please raise your left hand, and now wave it. Hello. So each time I raise my hand, I want you to raise your hands as well. Okay, because once upon a time, a man stood next to his beloved camera. Oh, it was a lovely camera. It was state of the art, and it facilitated our friend's life so much. Such was his obsession with it, so much he would not look elsewhere, to the point that he developed myopy. He could not see any further away from his camera. He was a social man, regularly meeting with his colleagues, equally myopic themselves, focusing on their cameras only. And they named their group. No, before that, they decided to make a group. And they formed a circle all together, looking towards the center, one to another. And they called it Intercameral Audiovisual Myopic Group for Excellence. That's IMAGO. Before that, sorry. So they were feeling weird because they were looking at each other, but they were hearing sounds, noises, and they realized that other people exist all around. So one of them had the idea to put on goggles, and he looked around, and he realized that indeed there are other people around. And our friends turned around, and they met their people. And this is exactly what the Authorship Committee has been doing in the last period. We are collaborating with people from the film business, but not into our strict limits of our profession. We're collaborating now with directors, with scenographers, production designers, costume designers, editors, people of the sound. This is what we're doing. It's something that has a meaning. It has a meaning. We're joining together. Kurt told you something about that. We met last November in Madrid. We discussed various issues. The important thing is that we hold regular meetings once per month. Once every month, all together, we join and discuss what's new, what's happening, what's going on. Because there are so many things that happen all around, and we'll give you small information on all of that. Now, Kurt told you that we met in Madrid. We created this first conference of audiovisual authors. We spoke about various things. It was presented, the common announcement, the public announcement was presented by former EMP, European Parliament member, Mercedes Echerer, and we were lucky enough to have arranged an announcement by current European Parliament member, Mr. Alexis Georgoulis, to whom I'm proud to say that I had worked a lot to manage it, because he also presented a question to the Commission as Parliament regarding the Danish situation. We'll talk about that later. Now, have a small view of.
Buenos días. Ante todo, me gustaría felicitarle por su excelente iniciativa por esta conferencia. Now I will switch in Greek, since I don't speak Spanish. Καλημέρα σας και στα ελληνικά. Τα πνευματικά δικαιώματα λοιπόν των διευθυντών φωτογραφίας, των σκηνογράφων, των ενδυματολόγων, των μοντέρ, των ηχοληπτών και όλων όσων εμπλέκονται με τον ήχο φυσικά, είναι ένα ζήτημα πάρα πολύ σημαντικό, ιδιαίτερα τη σημερινή εποχή που ένα πολύ μεγάλο ποσοστό του κινηματογράφου έχει μεταβεί στον ψηφιακό κόσμο. Το θέμα του συνεδρίου λοιπόν είναι εξαιρετικά επίκαιρο, αλλά η ανάγκη να λάβουμε επιτέλους δραστικά μέτρα μετρά ήδη πολλά χρόνια ανεπάρκειας. Είναι επίσης χαρακτηριστικό ότι αυτή η ανεπάρκεια των μέχρι στιγμής μέτρων αναδείχθηκε ακόμα περισσότερο από τις επιπτώσεις της πανδημίας. Γι' αυτό άλλωστε από τις αρχές της πανδημίας, το Μάιο του 2020, κινητοποιήθηκα ζητώντας από τις πλατφόρμες να αποδώσουν δίκαιη αμοιβή στους καλλιτέχνες των οποίων τα έργα είναι στο διαδίκτυο. Δεδομένου ότι με την ξεκάθαρη στροφή του κόσμου σε ταινίες και σε άλλα πολιτιστικά αγαθά στο διαδίκτυο, οι πλατφόρμες ωφελήθηκαν με τεράστια κέρδη, στα οποία, στο πλαίσιο μιας δίκαιης φιλοσοφίας, θα πρέπει να συμπεριλάβουν και εκείνους που τους ανήκει το αντίστοιχο περιεχόμενο. Είναι επίσης λυπηρό ότι σήμερα, σχεδόν 1,5 χρόνο μετά την λήξη της προθεσμίας, υπάρχουν ακόμα 8 χώρες που δεν έχουν λάβει κανένα μέτρο για την ενσωμάτωση της οδηγίας για τα πνευματικά δικαιώματα στο εθνικό τους δίκαιο. Έχω αναδείξει το θέμα πολλές φορές, με πολλές πρωτοβουλίες και θα συνεχίσω να το αναδεικνύω και προσωπικά, αλλά και σε συνεργασία με τους συναδέλφους μου στο CCFG, στο Cultural Creators Friendship Group, όπως και με εσάς, όλους εσάς, την κοινωνία των πολιτών, γιατί θέλουμε να είμαστε συνεχώς σε επαφή μαζί σας και μέσα από τις δράσεις μας να κάνουμε τη δική σας φωνή να ακουστεί όσο το δυνατόν περισσότερο. Και κάτι ακόμα. Στις περισσότερες ευρωπαϊκές χώρες, οι διασημότητες από το χώρο του θεάματος κατάφεραν με το φως τους να τραβήξουν την προσοχή της κοινής γνώμης στο μεγάλο πλήγμα της πανδημίας σε βάρος του πολιτισμού. Πιστεύω όμως ότι θα πρέπει να πέσει περισσότερο φως σε όλους όσους είναι πίσω από τις κάμερες, στο παρασκήνιο δηλαδή. Γιατί χωρίς αυτούς τίποτε δεν θα είχε δημιουργηθεί. Μόνο με αυτούς είναι εφικτό να ολοκληρωθεί οποιαδήποτε άρτια δημιουργία. Επειδή αυτό το θέμα με αγγίζει και προσωπικά, πήρα και εγώ μια πρωτοβουλία που ανέδειξε το ζήτημα στην Ελλάδα αλλά και σε όλη την Ευρώπη, αφού αυτό που κάναμε μεταφράστηκε και σε αρκετές άλλες γλώσσες. Μια προσπάθεια λοιπόν με στόχο να ρίξει φως εκεί που δεν βλέπουν οι προβολείς και οι κάμερες. Ηθοποιός σημαίνει φως ρε παιδιά. Γιατί, τι γίνεται, Μάκη, Τάκη, πώς το λένε το παιδί που είναι στα φώτα. Ρε παιδιά, λίγο φως. Είσαι. Ένα, δύο. Μ' ακούτε εμένα τόση ώρα που μιλάω. Ηχολήπτης! Κάτι έλεγα. Το script που είναι να με βοηθήσει λίγο. Και πώς καθόμουν. Ειδικά καθόμουν έτσι. Όχι, έτσι καθόμουν. Ή έτσι. Είναι εδώ κάποιος να μας πει το ρακόρ. Έχουμε. Δεν έχουμε άνθρωπο για το ρακόρ. Και πώς θα γίνει η δουλειά μας. Στο μοντάζ μπορούμε να το φτιάξουμε αυτό. Δεν έχουμε. Δεν μπορείτε λίγο να φτιάξετε κάτι.
Κάτι να τα κάνουμε ένα. Όχι stylist, που είναι.
Μπορεί να έρθει λίγο η εμπικιές να φτιάξει λίγο την καρφίτσα. Οι μακιγιές, πού είναι οι μακιγιές.
Και αυτές κάνουν μαγικά.
Έχουμε. Μόνος μου δεν πρέπει να τα κάνω όλα αυτά. Με τον. Δεν υπάρχουν βοηθητικοί ηθοποιοί. Κανένας. Μόνος μου. Και πώς θα πω το σενάριο, πώς θα γίνει ο διάλογος. Ούτε σενάριο έχουμε. Και παιδί, αυτό είναι αδύνατο. Δηλαδή, Δεν υπάρχει σεναριογράφος. Τι θα πω τώρα. Από πού να ξεκινήσω. Λοιπόν, ηθοποιός σημαίνει φως, νερό, τηλέφωνο, ενίκιο, πετρέλαιο θέρμανσης, τέλη κυκλοφορίας, βενζίνες, διόδια, σούπερ μάρκετ. Una vez más, felicidades. Buenos días. Ante todo, me gustaría felicitarle por su excelente iniciativa por esta.
As you see, Mr. Georgoulis is, well, he's an actor himself, but he's really interested both in authorship and in the working conditions of everybody in the audiovisual sector. And he's a valuable, I wouldn't say partner because we're not up to the same level, but he's valuable to us, most valuable. Now, let me give a synopsis of the Danish situation before we proceed, and we'll come back to this later. In May 2022, Netflix decided to stop all project development in an attempt to convince the Danish authors to give away their rights. Negotiations restarted on September, and the two parts arrived to a deal only lately. You have to understand that Denmark has for years been the model for authors' rights all over the planet. So there's a reason why Netflix and the others attacked the Danish people. Because if they win there, it will be easy to win everywhere. Before that, our committee, on the beginning of 2022, issued a campaign to assist Spanish cinematographers. Probably you know that because 26 of our member societies already responded positively and sent letters to the the Spanish Minister of Culture. This battle seems to have been won, and the authorship for Spanish cinematographers looks secured for now, right? Up to point. You know, with a politician, it's always difficult to say it's final because any day they might bring anything to the parliament and change whatever. But for the moment, something happened. We also attended a conference on audiovisual legislation back in last May in Portugal. Very, very informing in the sense that we realized all platforms or internet streamers are pressing the creative people to sign contracts in London or under British law so that they can give their rights away. This is the letter by FNF given to a model, one of societies that intervened for the Spanish situation. And the next thing I want to tell you about is Poland. Well, in Poland, Netflix used a much more brutal approach. If we think about it in relation to Denmark. They simply, the president of Netflix or the CEO, I don't know, visited Poland, had an appointment with the prime minister, came to an agreement, and the prime minister said, okay, no rights for anybody, despite the fact that there is European Union legislation. demanding the country, all countries, to pay rights. The Polish people have contacted us a few days ago, and soon we will all get a model letter to sign, so that we forward that and we interfere as well. This is the letter by the Polish Society, saying Polish creators and audiovisual artists, like everyone in the European Union, fight for royalties from the internet. Filmmakers have united for this purpose, but Poland is lagging behind in implementing the copyright directive in the digital single market. For those who don't know, this directive was voted by the European Parliament in 2019. It had a deadline for June 2021. And some countries have not implemented it in their law yet. Some others have done. My country, Greece, only implemented it last November. There is a delay, but this has to be over. Now, our friends from Poland continue. We are united and we act, but we also want... Sorry. Implementing the copyright directive in the digital single market. It is a loss for us as well as for you. We receive royalties from the internet from your countries, and we want to regulate it in Poland as well. We are united and we act, but we also want to strengthen our position. We ask you to give us your support. Your support will be presented in documents that we will present to members of the government and parliament, as well as organizations and the media. We are seeking written support that will highlight the importance of royalties to filmmakers. IMAGO is a global federation of cinematographers with European roots, so we hope that you will support our actions. The law is not the same throughout the world, but we are bound by the laws of the European Union. The legalization of royalties from the internet by the Polish government is in the interest of all filmmakers. We will be grateful for your support and advice. PSC board in composition: Piotr Sliskowski, President; Karina Kleschewska. Do I say it right, Karina? Is Karina here? Huh? Almost right. Okay. Kleszewska. Better? Kleszczewska. Okay. I just have to say it fast. Patros Piotrowski, Andrei Woszczewski, and Arthur Zurawski. So you will hear from us very soon for this. Our campaign is on. Before proceeding, do not misunderstand us. The Authorship Committee is not operating only in Europe. In Europe, there is a better situation that gives us more room to do things. But we are here for everyone, all over the world. Royalties is not the only part of authorship. Authorship is not only about money. Authorship has two functions: the economic function and the moral function. The moral function says that you have the right to be recognized as an author. You have the right to have your name on the print. You have the right to color grade your work, and you have the right to follow it so that other people don't come in and perform a different grading in the future. Okay, this is moral right, has nothing to do with money, and almost every country in the planet has signed an agreement on this. So it's totally different from money. Authorship has two values. For anything please contact us, authorship at imago.org. For anything, join us. Anybody who has an interest can join the committee. There is no need to perform today. There's a learning curve. One interested can join the committee and he or she will perform at some time when ready. But we're open and we will welcome any new members. Now we have a video by DFF that will show us how things work in Denmark a bit.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lone Amtrup, and I'm an independent lawyer. I have worked in this field of copyright for 30 years and 5 years for the Danish Association of Cinematographers. I have to say cinematographers are my favorite artists to work with. I'm really happy about it. And I was asked to talk a little about the Danish Copydan system. Copydan is a collective management organization or a collective society representing rights in audiovisual works. And there are 4 different societies in Copydan. There are World TV, licensing reuse of broadcast. Then there are use of education. There are broadcasters' reuse of own archive, and then there are compensation for private copying. A brief history of Copydan is it started in 1977, where the first licensing was of recorded TV on shipping vessels. Then in 1981, licensing of education came. In 1986, cable retransmission, the biggest society in Copydan, came. And in 1992, private copying came. And in 2007, licensing broadcasters' digital use of own archive came. And since 2010, digital services like web TV inside and outside the household or start over services, catch up, and so on came. And Copydan has worked very intelligent and been very good to negotiate these agreements. And every time the Danish Copyright Act changed, they have made new agreements. So nowadays, they collect 205 million euros. Which we are happy about. In the organization of Copydan AV, the producers and the artists control each 50% of the votes. So at the General Assembly, we have to agree and have to find out which agreements we want Copydan to negotiate and so on. It's very unusual in European context to have both producers and artists together in a collecting society. And I think it's the reason why Copydan is so successful is that we have been able to work together with the producers. Copydan also works close together with Union of Broadcasting Organization and with CODA. Another thing which is rare and very good is that we have decided collectively that we will first aim to make our agreements, have our focus on making the good deals with the distributors, and then when the money is in and the agreement is settled, then we will try to make a fair share between the artists and the producers. So it means that we do not have a lot of fights and a lot of struggles before we have the agreements. And I think it's one of the reasons why Copydan is very successful in making these agreements, because we sort of put these internal struggles aside and wait until we have the money. If I can just show you the Danish model, we have a drawing here where you can see the flow of rights and the mandates. If we have Copydan in the middle, Copydan operates on behalf of the mandates from the cinematographers and the actors and the producers. So all these organizations, they have to be very keen about that their members, they will, in every contract, they will have to reserve the rights. So that's what I've been doing for the Danish Association of Cinematographers since I started working for them. It has been to look every contract through and withhold rights, streaming rights, Copydan rights, and so on. So all the cinematographers, they can have a share when Copydan has made these agreements. Copydan, then, when they have the mandates on behalf of all these 30 member organizations, they can go out to the distributors and make these nice agreements. So UC, which is the biggest distributor in Denmark, they sell TV packages to all the customers, and a fair share of the money they earn, they will go back to Copydan, only because of the mandates and the good contracts and the rights withheld in the contracts. So that's the system in Denmark in very brief terms. Yes, and now I'll talk a little about the streaming situation in Denmark. Back in 2016, the streaming services had entered into Denmark, and the producers had started to make buyouts, which was a horrible thing and totally against the Danish model. As you have heard before, the Danish model is that we think that the artists should have payment if their productions can be shown and somebody can earn money on it. Then the artists need to have money for it. So Create Denmark was made by 10 rights organizations, the cinematographers, the actors, directors, production designers, editors, and so on, all the top artist organizations, but as I told, without the Producers Association. And the purpose was to enter into agreement with these streaming services and to make money to the artists. And last year we succeeded in making 3 streaming agreements with Netflix and the Danish TV2 Play, and the Wireplay, formerly known as Modern Times Group. And we also have talks now, not negotiations, with Amazon, and Disney Plus is in the pipeline. But I have to say that it was a very hard time last year, because the producers were very afraid of our way to negotiate in Create Denmark. The streaming services, they made a boycott, so no new productions were started. All the artists were, of course, afraid of it, and all the film workers in the area had sort of no jobs. So it was quite harsh, and also the press wrote a lot about Create Denmark, and so we are actually very happy now that we succeeded in making these 3 agreements, and we now can see that the cinematographers and all the others, they will get paid when streaming services make original Danish content here in Denmark. So actually we are very happy and very proud about our agreements.
Okay, we have to finish because the organization is pressing here. Alex has become very, very deep red out of his anxiety. The authorship committee was created, I think, in 2003 or something like that. Of course, by Luciano Tovoli, who was its president for until 2020, when issues with health of his wife forced him to, step aside. So I took chair since then. With us is Dr. Christina Bush, and I thank her very, very much for whatever she does. Also, Paul René. Thank you, Paul René. And we also have Ruth Dober, Jan Weinke, and Art Koch. Another two famous cinematographers, Jost Vacano and Vittorio Storaro, are our senior advisors. It means that they are not formally full members, but they get correspondence and they lean in when they feel something has to be told. What I presented you was our actions in 2022. We did that for about 1,800 euros, all of that. Imagine what we could do if we had the proper budget. Thank you very much.